Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome again to English lesson. This is Unit 8, does and don'ts, have, got to, should, must, words that go together at the doctors. This unit, does and don'ts, introduces the functional language of obligation and advice. In the two presentation sections, work, and problems, students talk about the duties and disadvantages of different professions and what they have to do at home, and offer advice to friends and visitors to their country. In the listening section, students listen to 3 people from different parts of the world, giving advice about holidays in their countries. And in the reading section, the reading section contains extracts from a newspaper problem page. Well, have, got to, and have is not the first time you introduced to these words. You introduced to have and have, got to express obligation, and must is often taught in first year courses to express obligation of the speaker. This can cause you a problem because they don't realize that must with second and third person sounds too authoritarian, and should would be more appropriate. They also use must to refer to a general obligation when have to sounds more natural. In British English, particularly in informal English, have, got to is normally used when talking about one thing we are obliged to do. For example, I have got to do my homework this evening, whereas have to is used when the obligation is habitual. For example, I usually have to visit my family at the weekend. In American English, only have to is used, and there are certain common mistakes, and you have to pay attention to the use of have to and have, got to. And must is used to express strong advice or recommendation. For example, you must see that new film, it's marvelous. In vocabulary section, 2 areas of collocation are dealt with: verb and nouns that go together, and compound nouns. In everyday English section, the functional situation at the doctors is practiced. It introduces the vocabulary of illness and revises the language of advice. From the very beginning, the starter here. So the starter here is aim to find how well you can use the verb go to. What's true for you? Make sentences about your life. I have to, I don't have to. I have to pay bills. I don't have to go to school, for example. And these are good examples to introduce you or start with you in order to get you introduced to the use of have to and don't have to. Work, have to and have, got to. In TypeScript 8.1, you have to listen to Steven talking about his job. What do you think his job is? Would you like his job? Why and why not? So you have to listen to TypeScript and give your own opinion. Number 2, complete the sentences from the interview with words from the box. Don't have to. So the first, I have to work very long hours? And then, do you have to work at the weekend? I don't have to do the washing up. We had to learn the basics. I didn't have wait too long to get a job. Change the sentences using he. For example, he has to work very long hours. Grammar spot. In grammar spot, here we have and have got are used to express possession or an action. For example, I have my own flat. We've got an exam tomorrow. Have and have got to plus infinitive are used to express obligation. For example, he has to work long hours. I've got to go now. Bye. Number 3, write the question and negative. I have to get up early. What time do you have to go to get up early? To get up, I don't know. I don't know to get up early. I don't I don't have to get up early. Yes, I don't have to get up early. Put these sentences in the past. Yesterday, I had to get up early. With reference to the grammar reference on page 137, we could check the grammar reference there. Now unit 8.1 have to. Form has, have plus to plus infinitive are used to show obligation. I, we, you, they have to, don't have to, work hard. He, she, it has, doesn't have to, work hard. Question, do and does. Do with I, we, you, they. Does with he, she, it. Have to work hard. Short answers. Do you have to wear a uniform? Yes, I do. Does he have to go now? No, he doesn't. Note that the past tense of have to is had to, with did and didn't in the question and the negative. I had to get up early this morning. Why did you have to work last weekend? They liked the hotel because they didn't have to do any cooking. The forms of have got to plus infinitive are the same as have got plus noun, and these will be at the unit 2. The use have is used to express strong obligation. The obligation comes from outside, perhaps a law, a rule at school or work, or someone in authority. For example, you have to have a driving license if you want to drive a car. That is a law. I have to start work at 8. My company says I must. The doctor says I have to do my exercise. It is an obligation by the doctor. Don't and doesn't have to is used to express the absence of obligation. It isn't necessary. You don't have to do the washing up. I have got a dishwasher. She doesn't have to work on Monday. It's her day off. Introduction to modal auxiliary verb. The form of the auxiliary verb. These are modal auxiliary verbs: can, could, might, must, shall, should, will, would, and they are looked at in different units of the headway, and they have certain things in common. and they are characterized by, first they help another verb. So the verb form is the infinitive without to. For example, she can drive. You see, another verb would be in infinitive. ما بي لا إضافة إيدي ولا أس شخصات ولا ing يكون وراء فعل مضارع مجرد. She can drive. I must get my hair cut. And the second characteristic is there is no do and does in the question. Can she sing? Should I go home now? The form is the same for all persons. There is no s in the third person singular. For example, he can, we can, they can, you can sing very well. She should try harder. It will rain soon. So the form for all the modal verbs are the same. The fourth characteristic, to form the negative, we add nt to the modal. There is no need to add don't or doesn't. I wouldn't like to be a teacher. You mustn't steal. Note that will not is won't, so it won't rain tomorrow. هي سوف لن تمطر غدا. Most modal verbs refer to the present and future. Keep in mind that modal refers to the future or present. Okay? And only can has the past tense form, which is could. So I could swim when I was 3. Should, the form of should plus infinitive without to. The forms of should are the same for all persons as a modal. So with positive and negative, I, he, we, they should do more exercise, shouldn't tell lies. The question, should I, she, they see a doctor? Do you think I, he, we should see a doctor? Short answers, should I phone home? Yes, you should. Should I buy a Mercedes-Benz? No, you shouldn't. The uses of should is used to express what the speaker thinks is right or what or the best thing to do. It expresses mild obligation or advice. Mild obligation is يعني شو نقول إجبار معتدل. I should do my work. This is my opinion. You should do more work. I'm telling you that what I think. Do you think we should stop here? I am asking you for your opinion. Shouldn't expresses negative advice. So here, because it's negative, we use this modal verb in negative to express negative advice. You shouldn't sit so close to the TV. It's hard or it's bad for your eyes. Note that should expresses the opinion of the speaker, and it is often introduced by I think or I don't think. I think politicians should listen more. I don't think people should get married until they are 21. 8.4 must, the form of must plus infinitive without to. The form as all the previous models is that I, he, we, they must try harder, mustn't steal. Questions with must are possible, but the use of have to is more common. Must I take exam? Yes, you must. Do I have to take exam? Yes, you do. The uses of must is used to express strong obligation, يعني إجبار قوي يعني strong obligation. Generally, this obligation comes from inside the speaker. I must get my hair cut. I think this is necessary. Because must expresses the authority of the speaker, we should be careful of using must. It sounds very bossy. You must help me. I am giving you an order. Could you help me is much better. Number 3, you must can express strong obligation. So you must see the modern at the exhibition. It's wonderful. You must give me a ring when you're next in town. So these are the uses of the modal verbs. Now we'll get back to the practice of certain grammatical points. In pronunciation, listen to these sentences. What are the different pronunciations of have and has and had? Indeed, بالحقيقة إذا الهاز هاي يسموها الكتابة الصوتية الترانسكريبشن. هذا الآ وهذا الزاء، هذا الهاء وهذا الآ وهذا الفاء. Okay, so I have a good job. I have a good job. So we use have, be. Number 2, he has a nice car. Has. Why? ليش اخترنا has الزاء والفاء؟ لأنه ما بعدها هو vowel، صوت علة وليس صوت ساكن صحيح. الحروف الساكنة الصحيحة إذا جت يكون النطق مالها بساكن أيضا. إذا كانت مجهورة، أصوات مجهورة مثل الز، فيكون الجهر أيضا بالحرف has to or have to. But when we have a voiceless sound يعني أصوات ما مصوتة ما مجهورة. مثلا الت مو مثل الد من أقول د أكو اهتزاز بالحبال الصوتية، لكن ت ماكو اهتزاز، لذلك يكون have to and has to. So the become fa and the become fa and the sa become the z become sa with the voices, whereas in voiced sounds the v in have become a v voiced, and the has will be z as a voiced sound. With t, for example, have to, the v become f, and has to, the s become se, and had to, the d become t also. You see? So the first one is be, have to. Number 2, he has a nice, has a. I had a good job, I had a good job. This is C. And I have to work hard. This is D. She has to get up early. This is E. And I had to work to take exams. This is F. With jobs, here we have different kinds of jobs: shop assistant, receptionist, taxi driver, artist, architect, lawyer, ambulance driver, police officer, nurse, soldier or decorator, detective, veterinarian. This is طبيب بيطري, mechanic, dentist, housewife, farmer, plumber, and firefighter. What do you think? Which of these jobs wouldn't you like to do, and why? This is and even talking about this is a classroom activity. Now we move to problems with respect to should and must. This section aims to practice the use of should and must, and suggest something to others' problem. For example, match the problems. For example, number one, match the problems and the suggestion on the right. What advice would you give? Here we have problem, and here we have suggestions. I am working 60 years a day. This is a statement, and this is the suggestion. This is the problem. Okay, listen to the cup and complete the advice. Use the words from the box. Number one, and we have shouldn't, should, must, don't think, you should. Number one, I think you should talk to your boss. Number two, you shouldn't drink coffee at night. I don't think you could go on that boat trip next week. Number four, you must go to the dentist. And these are suggestions. Give advice to your friends. This is a classroom activity. Now we move to grammar suppose. Which sentence express a suggestion? And which sentence express strong obligation? You should go on a diet. This is a suggestion. And you must go to the doctors. This is strong obligation. Should and must are modal verbs. Number two, he must be careful. You shouldn't drive when you are tired. Do we add s to s with he, she, it? Do we use do, does in the question and negative? We can make a negative suggestion with I don't think. I don't think you should smoke so much. So make the suggestion more tentative. And here we have suggestion or strong obligation. And now we move to the next section. Here we have the problems, and here we have the suggestion. Make sentence from the chart. Learn English. If you want to learn English, you have to work hard, for example. And I would like you to match these sentences and solve them in your copybook. Trip to your country. This is a classroom activity. Listening and speaking to the next section. Holidays in January. Do many people in your country go on holiday in winter? Where do they go? Where would you like to go for a winter holiday? While write the sentence and read it to the class. I'd like to go to, and so on. Tape script 8.4. Listen to three people giving advice about visiting their country in the month of January. Complete the chart. Compare your answers with the partner. This is a classroom activity. Now answer these questions. Which countries are they are talking about? How do you know? These are a classroom activity. I would like you to solve them. Speaking, put the words in the correct order. Weather is like in what day. So what's the winter like in January? Number two, what clothes should I take? Number three, what sort of things can I do? Number four, are there any special place that I should visit? Number five, food you recommend do what? What food do you recommend? and so on. Now we move to reading and speaking, a problem page from the headlines or columns from newspapers. Here we have problems, and the next page would have the suggestions. I would like you, dear students, to read this passage carefully, this article carefully, and then answer these questions. So the first one, A, 2 and 5. 2 and 5 are, I decided to give it all up and change my life dramatically 3 years ago. Since then I most exciting 3 years of my life. It can be scary, but if you don't do it, you will not know what you have missed. This is I don't think D here. I don't think you should worry. Okay, go for it. And you have to put these letters here in these gaps. Okay, which letter? Writer. This is not required. And then we move to the vocabulary. The vocabulary, this section is aiming to practice using the verbs and nouns get together as a kind of collocation. So many verbs and nouns go together. Tell a story, leave home. Look at the chart on the right. Match the verb with a complement. They are appear in letters and problems on page 66 and 67. So live abroad, write poetry, stop, stop being silly, act, your age, take responsibility, take your time, stay at home, in bed, sorry, stay in bed, don't know what you have missed, have to be cruel, to be kind. Okay, now we move to the everyday English, or before that, match the nouns to make a new words. Alarm, clock, and car, park, traffic, light, credit card, ice, ice cream, sun, glasses, and timetable, and rain, coast. And now have hair, dryer, sun, set, ear, ring, sign, post, and book, case, crush, hour, cigarette, lighter, earth, quack. And listen to and check your answers. Choose the word and give the definition to the class. Can they guess the word? So you use it to pay for thing, a credit card. That is right. This is a classroom activity. Everyday English at the doctor's. Complete the chart with an illness or symptom. This section deals with the vocabulary and functional language of going to doctors. Diarrhea, food poisoning, flu. It hurts when I walk on it. My glands are swollen and it hurts when I swallow. I can't stop sneezing and my nose is runny. So illness and symptom. So I've got a cold. I feel sick means I feel ill. Number 2. And can also mean I want to vomit. Number 2 means I vomited last night. The twisted, I've twisted my ankle. It hurts when I walk on it. I've got diarrhea. I keep going to the toilet. I've got a sore throat. You have to drink lemonade. And I've got I keep being sick and I've got diarrhea. So here I would like you, dear student, to complete your this chart. Here I've got. So what is the difference between these sentences? I feel sick. I was sick last night. I feel sick means that I feel ill, but I was sick at night means that I am vomited last night. Now put these sentences in the correct order. These are very important question number 2, and here we have to arrange these sentences in the logical order. Number 1, I didn't feel very well. Number 2, I phoned the doctor's surgery and made an appointment. Number 3, I went to the surgery and saw the doctor. Number 4, I explained what was wrong. I explained what was wrong. And 5, she took my temperature and examined me. She took my temperature and examined me. Number 6, she told me I had an infection. She told me I had an infection. And number 7, she gave me a prescription. She gave me a prescription. This is unit 7. And 8, I went to the chemist. I went to the chemist. I went to the pharmacy. I went to the pharmacy, paid for the prescription and got some antibiotics. Number 9, after a few days I started to feel better. After a few days I started to feel better. Now if you listen to your tape script 8.7, you will hear the conversation between Hassan and a student from Syria, and a doctor answered the question, what are Hassan's symptoms? For example, high fever and so on. So you have to pay attention. He got a bit of temperature, feel terrible and has a stomach ache, and he has been sick and he is had diarrhea. Sal. And number 2, What question does the doctor ask? What seems to be the matter? Have you felt sick? Have you had diarrhea at all? And have you had anything to eat recently which might have disagreed with you? And number 3, what does the doctor think is the matter with Hassan? He thinks he has a food poisoning. Number 4, what does he prescribe? What does she prescribe? She prescribes something for a stomach ache and diarrhea. Number 5, what advice does she give him? She tells him to drink a lot, spend a day or two in bed, and take things easy. Number 6, does he have to pay for anything? Only the prescription, which is £6. After finishing this unit, I would like to thank you for your listening, dear student. Next lecture would be Unit 9, going places, time closes if, hot verbs, and in a hotel. Thank you for your listening. Thank you all.